This 49ers team is never short of content, ever. There's always something going on. There's always something to talk about.
Here's the thing. Not only that, but the national news doesn't talk about them.
No.
So we're the center of a team that's as big as the Cowboys, as big as the Yankees. And for some stupid reason, the national news doesn't cover this team. And the local news covers it with kid gloves. So it's just fertile. To me, it's like gold rush, man. And this is our time.
John Lynch got asked yesterday, how has Jimmy Garoppolo handled the situation? Like, are we seriously? It's March of 2022.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? I've always looked at this as a service job. We are in service of the fans that follow the team. Yes. We are supposed to ask the questions that they want asked. How many times do we have to ask a member of the 49ers front office or coaching staff how Jimmy Garoppolo has handled this year? It's pathetic.
You said you were supposed to ask the questions that the fans want asked. How many people do you feel are asking the questions that they feel the person being interviewed wants asked? Don't you get that feeling? It's like, ooh, Kyle's going to love this question. Who fucking cares if he likes your question? He's not supposed to like your question. He's supposed to answer your question. Ask a question. Don't try to impress him with your knowledge because you're not going to. You're not going to.
My favorite part of all of that this season was David Lombardi mid-season saying, well, Kyle Shanahan said it, so you have to believe him because he's always been truthful. It's like he lies out his ass every freaking press conference, and then a week later you find out, oh no, that was happening. Like Brandon Ayuk was never in the doghouse. Yeah, bullshit. You can look at the results to know he was.
I feel like what you're supposed to do as a discerning sports fan, as definitely as a sports analyst, is kind of like read through the PR spin and say what's really going on. And what I love about the spreadsheet is he takes everything at face value, like everything, and tries to justify it with numbers. It's like it's
only the numbers he picks. He doesn't like the numbers that make Jimmy look bad.
He's like, everything the Niners say is true, and I can prove it with these numbers and spreadsheets. Like, dude, you're embarrassing yourself.
It's absurd. I keep telling him that these games aren't secret. We could see them. Like, it drives me nuts.
You can't gaslight an entire fan base, and yet he tries. God bless his soul. It's amazing. Maybe if
it's the self-righteousness that I think is different. Like, you don't come back with self-righteousness when you write something that stirs the shit. Like, you're like, yeah, I said it. He comes back with self-righteousness like, how dare you doubt me?
Yeah. Who do you think do you work for The Athletic? No. It's like, nice.
Nobody will. Hey, nobody will pretty soon.
What was your
charming self that you are?
What was your reaction when he tweeted out that he's the only one that covered the team really well? That's honestly
like perfect, man. That's just so on. Keep doing that, man, because people hate it. So keep doing that. Thank you.
Well, we've got there. Look, there's plenty of 49ers beat writers with plenty of opinions. I saw Tim Kawakami yesterday complaining about aggregators and talking about, how aggregators are horrible for Big J journalism. And I would love to ask Tim, and I will if I ever see him face to face. Where the hell is that Big J journalism, Tim? I'd love to see it from you or any of the other 49ers beat writers.
Aggregating what? We haven't broken the news ever. I almost broke the George Kittle. I got the numbers wrong. It was the closest anyone of us has gotten to breaking anything ever. I mean, honestly, like, that's not what we do. It's not how the NFL works anymore. All the news is broken through the NFL Network and ESPN. It's all kickbacks. This is how it works. So if you're a beat writer, like, what is your function? Sorry.
I agree. I've said it, Levin.
Sorry, how many times wrong on that one? Tim's wrong on that one.
How many times, Levin, have you heard me refer
to The Athletic, which is crazy?
I've referred to Adam Schefter as the human 5-minute heads up, which is what Mike Florio calls him, which is totally true. Because if Adam Schefter went away, we would not be any less informed about the NFL than we are right now. All this stuff comes out immediately after the teams just tweeted themselves 5 minutes later. Yeah. It's frustrating because, like I said, I consider this a service job. And so if you're not digging, if you're not trying to uncover things that the team does not want uncovered,
Thank you.
What are you doing? What value are you to me?
That's an East Coast journalist right there. It's not a story. It's not a scoop unless the team didn't want it out there. You beat the team by 10 minutes, not a scoop. You put out something there that was troubling for the team that they didn't want. No, that's journalism. Good. And that never happens anymore. Very rarely, especially not out here.
It doesn't happen because they get cut off. Yep. That's what happens. You don't get any more exclusives. No. You don't get to sit down one-on-one with John Lynch.
Great.
Like we all know.
But there's no value in that when you're not going to ask him anything.
And they won't answer. And now they won't even let you in the locker room anymore. So what's the value of their press pass? I get to ask one question in a Zoom meeting. Great.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Do you
And
guys
you won't
ever
answer it. And I can't follow up.
Right.
Yeah, that would be really difficult. I've thought about that before when I've heard some of the, when you can actually hear the questions being asked. I'm like, oh, there's an obvious follow-up there that's needed to actually have that article that
and I have to
looking for.
raise my hand and they're like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, because
sorry.
they know.
Yeah.
They know what the follow-up is, and they don't want you to ask it.
Follow-up because they know how to step around one question, but then you back them into a corner with the second one.
Yeah.
Do you guys, I assume this doesn't happen then, like you, Mayoko, Kawakami, do you ever huddle up and be like, hey, we got to ask these, we got to, drill down on this topic, whatever it is? Because I feel like Tim, when Harbaugh was there, Tim went at Harbaugh about the players.
Tim changed when he went to the Athletic.
And their off-field issues.
To be honest.
Tim called Jim Harbaugh out on his bull crap, and I loved it. And I saw Tim at the Super Bowl, and I walked up to him and said, thank you for doing that. I respect you for doing that. I appreciate it. And he said, whatever, can you get Florio to come on my podcast? Is what he basically said. But nobody does that anymore, except for
my
you.
dad used to do it. He retired. Tim used to do it. He retired, or I don't know what he does now. Yeah, I feel you on that. I try to do it. It's just the way that they just keep pushing journalists further and further away. You're in the same room with them. Now it's Zoom. You're in the locker room. Now you're not. Now it's like, here are the players we want you to talk to. Here are the topics we want you to. It's like, all right. It's depressing. It's bleak.
It's why, let's be honest, it's why journalism's dying.
All right.
It's changing.
Changing. Yeah.
I can't be mad when I'm making money hand over fist.
I would argue
I'm saying I like the way journalism's evolving really very much.
I would say journalism is evolving into something I wouldn't necessarily call journalism. It's not there yet, but it seems like you said, a lot of the people these days, all they're doing is rehashing stuff.
You can't rely on you can't rely on the team to help you. They're not going to help you with access. You have to go around the team. You have to have sources around the league. You have to go to agents. I mean, it's just the teams are there to say no and to get in your way and to put out propaganda, and you actually have to work around it. And that's why I love the spreadsheet so much, because he's like, all I have to do is pretend I work for the 49ers and just say everything they do is correct and smart. It's like, man, they have a whole team that does that, right? You're not getting paid by the Niners to do that, right? You're supposed to have an independent perspective, but I guess that's what the Athletic wants, to not make waves or something. Anyway, I guess I'm not getting hired by the Athletic anytime soon. I'm cool.
Like a twig on the shoulders of a mighty stream.
I don't really believe in the whole, not to go off on the Athletic, but the whole subscription paywall model. Honestly, I love it too, because it makes me even more popular. Put all your shit behind paying for writing. First of all, do you know that kids don't read anymore? Athletic? Did you not know that? Your reading ship is people 40 and old. What are you? Anyway, they'll figure it out eventually when they go out of business.